Hello and welcome to the Get Happy podcast with me, your host, Rüdrani Devi. And today is a completely different podcast because it's just going to be me. It just kind of popped for me this morning. I facilitated a one-day specialty class for Access Consciousness called Right Voice for You. And it's designed, Gary Douglas, the founder of Access Consciousness, taught the first Right Voice for You class. It was namely for, public speakers, singers, all the things you would normally think a title like that would lend to or be a contribution to. And then about, I guess it was 3 years ago, and we're in 2021 right now, Christopher Hughes took over this facilitation, and it became more about stepping into your voice in the world. And it kind of turned me on when I thought about it. I said, if I could facilitate a class where people would be willing to be all of themselves, all of me. Where's my microphone? Oh, why not take all of me? Can't you see? I don't like the next line in this 10 seconds, so I'm not going to sing it. But here's the thing. What if you were willing to step into your voice, whatever that is, in the world with the 5 elements of intimacy: vulnerability, trust, honor, allowance, and gratitude? Because, we get kind of tripped up with all of this stuff. We think we're supposed to be this facade, or we're supposed to show up in the world the way this world has told us to show up. And what if that actually wasn't the gift of you? This reality says, okay, you go to school, maybe you go to college, you find a mate, you start a family, you have the job that you stay at, you get the watch, or you raise the children. There's so many rules and regulations in this reality that may not even be true for you. And what would you be if you actually were yourself in the world? I think about it. It's like, what if you were born in the world and there was nobody else? Who would you be? Truly think about that for a minute, because we've been, enculturated in this reality. It starts with our parents or our caregivers or whoever it is. And then it's our friends, the tribe that raises us, whatever you want to call it. And then we get societized, we wear these different masks. I'm expected to look this way, and, I'm a woman, so I must this, or I'm a man and I must this. I was teaching a class. It was actually a relationship done different class, and doing a time zone work for Turkey. And the women were just lovely. I loved that they were willing to be so vulnerable and willing to address a question like this. They were saying that, well, in Turkey, Rüdrani, we don't really get to make all the major choices, all the big choices. We get to make the small choices. Our husbands are the ones that choose for us, and we have to be submissive and follow along and do what they do. And they saw that as being an honoring. And where do you find honor for yourself in that? And I was like, okay, so truth, you guys. Are you infinite beings, or are you just this body? And we do this heavy light tool. What makes you feel lighter is true for you. What makes you feel heavy isn't. It makes navigating your life really, really easy. It's one of the tools of Access Consciousness, the movement that I am so grateful to be a part of, and the reason why this podcast even exists. So I asked them this question. I was like, okay, so if you're an infinite being, would an infinite being care if they were a woman or a man or Turkish? And you would have thought, all these glazed faces, because I was doing a Zoom call. So there's these boxes with faces going, huh? Wait, glazed over look in their eyes, kind of funny thing. And I could tell that that question had never really been posed to them before. So I said, okay, let's try it a different way. Ask your bodies right now, walls and barriers down, Truth, are you Turkish? And it was amazing. Not one of the ladies on the call got a yes. They got no, because an infinite being doesn't care, which enculturation you've chosen in this lifetime or in this reality. And then I said, so Truth, are you women? Again, this is this title that's been slapped onto us. Would an infinite being truly care about its enculturation? No, the body does. The body needs food. The body chooses the adventure, all the things. So, getting back to this piece about being who you truly be. And I touched on it very quickly and then moved on, circling back these 5 elements of intimacy. And we covered all 5 in the calls yesterday, because we did a morning session and then we did an evening session. And the one that I found was so interesting was the honoring piece. We have a tendency to put ourselves last. When I say that, I'm saying we, like in this society or in this reality, especially, if you are responsible for children or your partner or whatever it is, you're a CEO in a business and you've got to do all the things to make sure that that business or that family is thriving. And so when I was posing the question about what is honor to you, you would have thought that I had been speaking Swahili, And so let me just say, see, honoring is when you're willing to honor you in your life. It's like having gratitude for you in your life. You can have gratitude for so many people or be an honoring, to so many people for being in your life. But how many times do we forget about ourselves? Gary Douglas says, if you can do one honoring thing, for 1 hour a day for yourself, that's true honoring. And I find that I actually am honoring myself almost 24/7, because this is not my job to be a facilitator. It's my life. And I'm in love with my life. So it's not work for me, I wake up and it's like, okay, what glorious and grand adventure am I going to get into today? Who or what am I today? Universe, show me something beautiful. I kind of put out those intentions, I do this communion with Mother Earth every morning. If it's not raining or if the weather's in a space where I can get in my hot tub, I do it usually from my hot tub. A lot of times I stand in the grass, connect with the pulse of Mother Nature. Have you guys ever done that? Do you know she actually has a heartbeat? It's pretty amazing. I'm this Earth's bitch. That's no joke. And an honoring for me is to honor her every morning. And this is my little mantra that I say to her. What energy, space, consciousness, choice, magic, miracles, mysteries, and possibilities can me and my body be so that you, beautiful Mother Earth, get to create you the way you would like to be created? Anything that does not allow that, I destroy and uncreate it all. And that's my intention. And then I tap into the energy a little more, expanding out, walls and barriers down. And I perceive that I'm already being that for her. And what's so cool is this reciprocation of it. I honor her, and she immediately gifts me back by honoring me. It's so cool. So don't try it. Don't try it. Yeah. I know we say that a lot in Access, and people are like, why do you say that? And it's really just kind of like a little wedgie, because, I don't know about you, but when somebody tells me I can't do something, pretty much going to show you that I can. The perfect example of that, this is when I realized the tenacity that I have, was when I was in India in 2008 and I got shot by terrorists. Some of you may know this story, some of you may not. And if you Google my name, Rüdrani Devi, Rudranidevi, you'll get the rest of the story. But namely, behind my back, in front of my face, behind my back, Doctors were uncertain I'd ever walk again, or at least walk unencumbered. And yeah, you guys, it took me 2 years, surgeries and wheelchair for a while. Then I had a motorized one. That was kind of fun. And a walker and finally a cane. I remember that I would, when I would grocery shop, I would be knuckling where you're pushing the cart, and that kind of helped me learn how to walk also. So I made a point to go to the grocery store at least once a week. It was tiring. I could drive before I could walk, My right femur had been shattered by an AK-47. So we had to wait for the bones to actually grow back together. And I had this prosthesis, not a prosthetic, but a prosthesis, it was like this plastic leg that was made for my leg that had straps. So we tighten it because my leg was atrophying, but we had to make sure that everything was held together so that the bones would grow back before I could have surgery on my kneecap that had been kind of pulled apart. It's a long, arduous process. And when I talk about it now, it's like I'm talking about a Netflix movie, So I know I kind of went way off into another world, but I kind of wanted you to get to know a little bit about my background, because how can somebody like me, who's been through all of that, have a Get Happy podcast? And, it does. It feels like I'm talking about a Netflix movie. I don't even feel like the character in the story I'm telling. It's not all I am, which is at peace again about the right voice for you, being you in the world. I mean, what if you being you, authentically you, is who you truly be? I'm not just the Italian American with the Indian name who survived the Mumbai terrorist attacks in 2008. I'm not. I'm a lot of things. I'm the creator of this book, Choosing Happiness. My third book speaks 3 languages, also speaks Portuguese and Spanish. It's getting translated, hopefully soon, in Arabic and Russian. Who knew the Russians wanted to be happy, y'all? True story. Anyway, this book was this is what birthed the Get Happy podcast. And initially, when I was doing the interviews, I was interviewing other CFs, and we would talk about access and we talk about the tools. There's 10 plus tools in this book, 10 that are outlined, and then several others I sneak in between when I'm telling my little stories. This is like Access 101. If you want to know what it's about, it's a 90-minute read, pretty quick. Well, you can get the Audible too. And that's actually a little bit longer. I have a couple of other people talking on the Audible as well. So if you're one of those people that just rather have me in your ear, it is my voice for most of the chapters anyway. Then that's the way to go as well. And it gives you very pragmatic tools, and it lets you know more about what this thing I've been talking about in all these podcasts are, with these other certified facilitators. And just recently, I started to step out of that. And I thought, you know what? I'm selling the same cow to the same farmers. And I can't take credit for that. That's Christopher Hughes came up with that. And I thought, dang, that gave me the idea, just sparked interest. And I thought, well, what if there are people that aren't in Access that want to know more about Access? They're not going to follow this podcast if I'm only playing to the same audience. What if there are other people that are actually searching? That's what the book was about. So, I made it for people in Access to give to their families so that they could show their family that they weren't in a cult. Hey, guess what? They're just pragmatic tools that make life easier. Would you like to have some of that? Right? It's a different way of thinking about living your life. It's really it. There's a lot of things out there like that. This could be for you. This may not be for you. But if someone hands you this book because you're curious, you'll know within the first couple of chapters if it's something that speaks to you or not. Right? So there I was talking to CFs. They would talk about their classes, how they got their happy on, what their favorite tools were. And the people that were listening probably knew most of these things already. They're just getting different perspectives or whatever it is. And then Christopher says, yeah, it's hard to sell the same cow to the same farmers. And I'm like, okay, let me step outside the box. And so I started interviewing peeps that, they may have heard of Access. They may have taken classes, but they're not certified facilitators. They've got their own jam going, they've got their own wellness centers. They follow different other modalities or whatever. And I've found that the conversations they've been so much fun. Number one, right? Two, there are other people that might actually find the podcast. My people might find something interesting with what they're doing and vice versa, and, here I am still here. What else am I going to do? I would like to use my time or my body's time that's still here for good and not evil. The infinite being will live on, and it'll choose another body or not. And this body, eventually dust to dust, right? So again, while we're here, what if being ourselves authentically, if I can use that word, I'll put in quotes, authentically, was actually what the world required right now? The world's a little crazy. It's a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. I mean, what is today? October 4th of 2021? I just had a birthday October 1st, another year gifted that almost didn't happen for me. So while I'm here, I want to be the invitation for you to be your voice in the world, the right voice for you in the world, to be you, regardless of what that looks like, warts and all, honoring you for being in your life. And truthfully, when you get to be you, you see a child when they haven't, they don't care about the words that come out of their mouths or whatever, and they're playing and all this until we tell them that it's wrong or bad or all the things. Do you notice how happy they are? How free they are? Could that be for you? That's the invitation. That's my invitation to you. And if you want to know more about these things, there's resources I can point you to. There's classes that I facilitate and other CFs in Access, certified facilitators, facilitate. I mean, I am so happy when I'm facilitating these classes. It's how I get my happy on. And when I'm actually taking Access consciousness classes, I am so happy. And I remember posing this to Gary Douglas in our last certified facilitators class, where you have to take this class and all these other things to keep your certification for another year. You sign another contract. That just happened. So I get to do this another year. Thank you, Access. And I posed that question to him. I said, can you speak more about that? Because I know that I'm at my happiest when I'm either facilitating or taking classes. Not to say I'm not happy hanging out with my friends and communing with Mother Earth and all the things. And then he kind of pointed that out to me. He goes, well, hey, when you go into your closet, do you try on 50 outfits or do you just choose? And I was like, well, I kind of follow the energy. I go in there and something always seems to talk to me. If it's not the clothing first, it's the jewelry first. And then I'm like, okay, who wants to play? And then whatever shows up is whatever's here. And today it happens to be this ensemble, for those of you that are looking on YouTube, right? And I actually dress every day. And I know that during COVID, a lot of people, got comfortable in their sweatpants. And I got on Zoom more. And, my body loves being dressed. It loves playing with jewelry and clothes and all the things. I guess I will put this in quotes. I'm such a girl in this reality, I love pretty shiny things and all the things. But the point he was making was, I didn't have to try all these different things to get my, to figure out what I was going to wear for the day. I chose because I followed the energy. And that's what we do when we're facilitating classes. So what if my life could be the same, following the energy? What if one morning you woke up and you asked your body, you may as well include it with you all the time. What if your body could actually be your best friend? It has your back, even when you don't have its. I know that sounded weird, but needless to say, what if you could include your body? Hey, body, what would you like to wear today? You feeling silk? What are you feeling? And then notice when you include your body, how your body feels. That's embodiment, by the way. At least that's my point of view of what it is. And me choosing by following the energy is actually more me than choosing because this reality says I have to. Do you notice when somebody tells you to do something again, you contract or you do it out of duty? And is that an honoring to you? And is it an honoring to them? If you're not being you, think about that for a minute. I would much rather somebody be their authentic self, even if it was not something I would choose, than to be something they think I want them to be. That can't be fun for them. Can you see how that might eventually bring up resentment and all the things? Well, I did this for you. Well, I didn't ask. It's like, what if? What if? Can you be in the question of what if? What if I choose this? What will happen? What will my life be like? What will I create if I choose this? And then tap into your body. If it feels light and makes you excited, you find yourself wondering, might want to check it out. If you feel contracted, heavy, maybe not for you. So honor you for being in your life. And I think that's all I've got for now. So if you liked this conversation with me, with myself, then subscribe or maybe share this with others. I'll make sure I also have the link for choosing happiness. Maybe that's where you start, because it is just a choice. You can actually choose it, y'all. I know so many people say, well, no, I was born into this family or in this situation. You can choose your way out of it. Oprah did. That's one example. I did. You can choose your happy. So I'll make sure the link is there. And if there's a topic maybe that you'd like for me to talk about, I'm open to just having a few podcasts with just me, myself, and I, and my infinite self. So what would that look like? And if you're interested in any of these classes, I'm happy to either point you to someone in your area or we can take it online here. What else is truly possible now, y'all? Okay. Well, thank you so much if you're still listening. I sure do appreciate it. And until next time, ciao, ciao for now.